Yes, I am online. I noticed the last time I did a stream, which was yesterday, um, I spoke a bit too quickly, a bit too early, and I'm sure I've actually read this before, is that it actually takes a couple of seconds from me hitting start streaming to actually then um, Twitch, actually broadcasting what you're doing. Does that make sense? Because my recording on local recording, which I then put on YouTube, that starts right away. But there was like a good, I don't know, probably 10 seconds where that beginning bit was skipped on the Twitch VOD. Who cares, frankly? But I just need to maybe sometimes pause before I say hello. Yes, I'm still coughing. And I should probably mute the mic when I do that. Anyway, hello. This is a late night stream, and I thought to do a little bit of something that I didn't find the time to do last time I was online, which was yesterday. I think was it? It must have been yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday when I was online, right? I think I can't remember. Yeah, it was definitely yesterday. Anyway, whatever. I got so far as to arrange all my line work on the various layers. Now that I've finished the line work onto like 6 layers, and I think I started getting my palettes ready. Yeah, here we go. So I've got my cleanup palettes, which are down here. Oh goodness, I forgot to switch views. Let's go. So yeah, I've got my 6 layers here of line work, and there's sort of, for each, if I go like this backwards, you can see it's basically the very rear layer, then the next one, then the next one. Yep, that's actually below this table, and then this doorway, which I'm going to refine a little bit. I might even do that this stream, just make these lines wobbly but not this wobbly, and lay down some colours. Let me start then with the boring stuff, which is just straightening out this sort of framing doorway. In case it wasn't very obvious, I've pulled a lot of this palette from these shots from a Sesame Street animation, because I really like the kind of late 70s, early 80s palette of these. So yeah, I'm going to use those, I think, as my hero colours, my main colours. And then I'm sure I'll be tweaking them as I go along. But I think it'll give it like a nice kind of vintage feel. Let me select this layer I already have and just work on getting this framing doorway to be a little cleaner, like a little straighter than it is, because I like the wobbly lines, but this is a little too wobbly for me. Needs a little bit of clean up. Okay, what width are we talking about? This is quite wide, isn't it? I wonder if it even needs to be this wide. Is that 20 width? Yeah, probably is about 20, isn't it? Maybe a little bit more, actually. Maybe I'll stick to 20 then. Okay, so if I work on the layer above, I'm really sorry about the coughing. It's so annoying because I want to be able to talk whilst I'm streaming, but it's causing me to cough more. Maybe I'll just shut up. Maybe that would actually be a huge boon to the stream. More people would watch. If I go to this layer and make this red for now. Excuse me, it's also late night stream. So I may be yawning as well as coughing. How about that for a double feature? Why aren't you changing colour? It's done this to me a couple of times now where I've selected, yeah? There we go, okay. I was not in the right tool. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. And now I can go back to black. The actual line work of the rest of it is not black, it's this very dark brown line, which is sort of corresponds to this kind of colour, and the sort of line work from this stuff. I don't know if I'm being very coherent at this time of day. So yeah, I'd like it to be organic, the line work, but not quite as wobbly as it currently is. I wonder if I zoom out a little bit, it might be a little quicker at doing it, and a little straighter. How's everybody's Wednesday been? When I first heard this album, I'm really sorry, the kanji hiragana isn't displaying right, but this is a Japanese album by a band called Maria. I believe this album was produced by Yasuaki Shimizu. Anyway, when I first heard this album, I was really in love with it very quickly. And it was actually, I think, the first Yasuaki Shimizu production I'd ever heard. Which, now that I know what his stuff sounds like, you can really hear it. I'm now obviously going to be completely wrong, and Yasuaki Shimizu has nothing to do with this, but I think I'm right. I think I'm right in saying that it is Yasuaki Shimizu. Okay, I think that's a little better. And then with this one, actually, the line here is a little wonky, I've noticed. Has almost sort of like the music has almost like a dub ska feel to it. Dub ska. Forget dubstep, this is dub ska. Anyway, yeah, this sounds very much like a Yasuaki Shimizu joint. I think that one's alright, actually. So, if I grab that, put it here. Although actually it's a little too wide. No, actually it's not too bad. And then the same for that one, that was fine. Oops. So I guess it's just this one that needs a tiny bit of tweaking. Tiny bit of tweaking. Sorry, don't know why I said that like that, that's weird. I think that was supposed to be some kind of New Jersey accent. Tiny. Or was it even like a more of a Boston accent? Maybe Long Island? Just gonna name all the East Coast places I know with their accents. I hope this doesn't look worse than it did. I'm hoping not. Let's have a look. Excuse me. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Pretty sure it's better. So mirror that. Well, I think that's fine. One thing, let me just check. Yeah, there's a couple of width things. Hold on, let me just check that compared to that. Marginally wider. Oh. Tiny bit wider. I mean, doesn't really matter. Oops, wrong layer. It sounds almost like Dada. Da, da, da. As in the kind of nonsense lyrics that they often used to write music to, I guess, didn't they? Those crazy Dada people. They're all crazy, of course. Every single one of them. Is that better? Yes, sort of. Okay. And also, I think I just needed to do one more thing with the top, actually. I needed to do one thing. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker here. So, excuse me for the coughing. I think a bit more like that. Again, this is very Yasuaki Shimizu. I'm just going to double check because I feel like maybe... Let's have a look. Yasuaki Shimizu Discogs. I don't want to be, giving out fake news. Speaking untruths. In fact, this is him singing. Hold on, let me just have a look quick. Just double checking though, because I have been wrong. Yasuaki Shimizu discography, yes. Please tell me he did this. He did Kakashi. But he also did... appearances, let's check appearances. Oh my god, it's going to tell me it wasn't him at all on Maria. Am I completely wrong? No, I cannot believe that. Hold on. Yes, here we go. Phew. Alright, yes. Of course he isn't Maria. I'd be mad if he wasn't. Okay, cool. Okay, yes. Okay, so people in Maria are Hideo Yamaki, Masanori Sasaji, Morio Watanabe, Satoshi Murakawa, Takayuki Hijikata, and Yasuaki Shimizu. Okay, I was right. I feel vindicated. I was not spreading lies. God forbid. Right, okay, so I've done that. Let me now start blocking out some colour. And try not to cough. I'm going to give myself the opportunity here to do one massive cough. Let me mute my mic. Like, what is the etiquette on Twitch when you have a bit of a cold? That seems to be lasting my entire life. It's crazy how long I've had this throat thing. It's just a viral thing. Anyway, one sec. I'm going to mute the mic one more time. Maybe I should just not talk. I'm going to give myself, my vocal cords, a little rest for a second whilst I block out the colour. Sorry about this. I don't know, this probably makes terrible streaming. Okay, here we go. I might occasionally say things like, I don't think this is working, or that needs to change. Okay, so I think I like the idea of I think I'm going to have one, a non-linoic layer, just a fill layer, which will be with this kind of cream, what I've called yellow 2 colour. So let me make a new one here and just call that BG Fill 01. Keep it simple. BG Fill 01. Who's BG Fill? You never heard of BG Fill? BG Fill. One of the Bee Gees, I guess. BG Fill. Okay, and then I'm going to take my I think this track was the one, excuse me, was the one that first introduced me to Maria, and therefore was probably the first, I'm going to say his name again, Yasuaki Shimizu track I ever heard. I think this was on a compilation or a mix. Yes, it was. It was on a mix on, what were they called? There was a blog like in the 2010s with all kinds of world music, or what they used to call fifth world music and stuff like that, like alternative, kind of like avant-garde music that wasn't necessarily in the English language. And I think there was a Japanese one, I forget what it was called. It did very well because I remember there being loads of comments on this blog post for this particular posting of this mix, and this was one of those standout tracks. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Have I got it in my... I should have this in my personal playlists. Let's see, add to playlist, Tom's picks, add. Let's see. I think I already had it in there. I'd be mad if I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a second whilst I just make this fill, background fill, BG fill. This is already going to make it pop so different how it has been whilst I've been drawing on this insipid grey. What's the shortcut for paint bucket? There we go. Alt I in Toon Boom. Bam! Wow, that really, it's weird how much difference that makes. Cool. Alright. Get rid of these strokes, don't need them for this particular fill. BG fill. Okay, lock that for now, so I don't keep grabbing it. I hate coughing. Ah, my god, it's so frustrating. Wow. Like, do I decide what the colour of this foreground bit should be before I carry on? Excuse me for 1 second. No, I think I'll leave that to the end. 1 second, or at least not right away. Hello. Okay. Unless... No, I'm going to work out that colour later. Right, okay, so let's work on this for now. Just quickly block out the colours here. What do I want the windows to be? I think maybe... I don't want them to be sky blue particularly, because I'm sticking to this more reserved palette which actually has very little blue, like minimum amounts of blue, and I think that's what gives it partially that sort of retro, vintage, warm feel to it. Goodness me, I should really just shut up. I wonder if maybe like a hint of like a light yellow, and then like with some of this green, like just vague shapes of maybe foliage like behind the windows. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so let's go back to our... Because I'm doing block colours at the moment, just doing like the first pass of colours. I'm not going to be like... I'm just going to be doing like, yeah, big fills using the stroke tool. I am on the colour layer, yes. On the colour sub-layer of this particular layer. So let's have a look what this might look like. What might... Oh, and let me save this file. Save as 61. Version 61. Can you believe it? I can believe it. What's this one? We're still in Maria. Oh, I thought this album was a bit shorter than this. This might be the last track on the album. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. And then I've got Mkwaju Ensemble coming up next, which again was on this mix of... I was talking about just a while back. Hold on, let me concentrate here. I wonder if I should be using the brush tool. No, the stroke tool's better. What is this? Can you see this? If I zoom in. Hurry up. There's like, what's that? This weird little like splodge of slightly... What is that? What layer is that on? Hold on. How strange, how peculiar. Can I delete it? Yes, there we go. I wonder if that was like a bit of... yeah, anyway. Back to my fill layer. BG... No, not BG fill. This is just fills for this particular window. Now, that's Alt V? Yes. Alt V for the stroke tool, everybody. If you're currently filling out your Toon Boom shortcut bingo card. Is this recording? I remember there was one stream not that long ago where it just cut out randomly. I'm not quite sure why. It had stopped recording me, so I had to use the VOD from Twitch to put onto YouTube, which was not ideal because it was 720p. Awful stuff. Now, some people will be saying, why are you not just sending the strokes from the linework sublayer to the color layer? Well, it's because I'm doing like big fills right now, which I think is just a bit simpler and more in my control doing it like this. Also, I suppose you say I can like do a few tweaks here where I can repair or I think it's a bit too wobbly. Also, I may want sometimes the colour to maybe slightly overlap or underlap the line work to give it like a bit more of a, again, like a vintage print feel to it, maybe. So yeah, I'm not going to do the, at least not yet, do that, what's it called in... create colour art from line art. Creates invisible strokes, allowing you to paint your drawings on the separate layer. You see what I mean? You basically push, how I imagine it, how this sort of icon is. It's like you're pushing the strokes from the line work layer to the colour layer, sub-layer. Okay, well there you go. That was the end of that Maria album. Oh, sorry, just knocked my second camera, my overhead camera, so I can prove to you that I really am drawing here. I'm not faking it with I don't know, generated AI art or something. Oh man, this album is so good. I hope you're wearing decent headphones because the bass of this and it's not like bass line, I mean just the soundscape bass of this album is incredible. Now, I don't believe Yasuaki Shimizu was involved in Mkwaju Ensemble, but there definitely were some superstar Japanese musicians involved with it. I'm just not sure who. Look, I found another one of these random... What is that? Don't know. Accidents. That's what they are. Those are accidents. Accidents that have happened. They're not waiting to happen, they've happened. You won't actually see this bit because, as you can see, there's a monitor blocking most of this part of the window. The bottom, the sill. Sill? Lintel? Lintel's on top, sill's on the bottom, right? Any architecture heads out there watching this? I think you'll find that's not a sill because the window doesn't actually have... I don't know why this is American. I think you'll find that it's actually not a sill. It is just the bottom part of the wall ingress in which the window is set. How's that for a impression of an architecture nerd? I'm actually very pleased. I'm very pleased I used the word ingress there. Ingress, it's a good word. Makes you sound incredibly smart. Not to be confused with undress. He was in a state of ingress. Literally, what are all these weird little, like... it's not that one, there's something else. There's like little smudges here of really wide... What is that? Is that brush? No, that is... I don't know what that is. That's weird though. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's only been so far on this particular window. Was I just not concentrating on this particular day and just leaving weird smudgy bits of line work everywhere? Hold up. Where? There it is, okay. This is very quiet. This is a particular track, so sorry if it sounds really quiet on the mix. It looks like it's barely audible on Jellyfin, on OBS. Maybe I need to pump it up. Like I said in a previous stream, the normalization on my music collection, because it's from so many various sources, is quite inconsistent. Is that better? I think that's a bit better, isn't it? Sorry about that. You could probably not even hear those bassy tones I was talking about. Okay, so if this is yellow 1, then I need to make a lighter yellow. In fact, is there a lighter yellow that I can pull from here? Not really. Does that look a little bit lighter? No, I think I'll just make my own. That 3. That's not quite the same though, is it? That's a bit redder. No, I'm going to make another shade of yellow. So if I do that. How long have I been streaming for? 41. I think I'll stream. Excuse me for 1 second. I really hate this coughing so much. Yeah, another yellow. A little bit lighter. I might even... oh no, wait, their suggestions aren't very good. Sometimes I just use like the suggested colours here, but actually they're no good. They're no good. I feel like something like that. I'll probably end up changing it again, but maybe something like that. Not too subtle, you want to be able to tell the difference between one and the other. Yeah. Does that feel about right? I think that feels about right. I'm going to call this yellow 3. And then Alt-I for paint bucket and slap that in. Okay. Let me turn off the strokes. Yeah, right? I'll do the rest of the windows like this. See how that goes. I wonder if it could be a little bit yellower though. Just a touch more yellow. Yeah, there we go. Right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay, cool. So, okay, let me block out the other 2 windows. And then I'm thinking there's like a little bit of green. Like the sort of outline of a bit of a bush along here to sort of give the idea that there might be some foliage behind the windows. Or maybe that's overcomplicating it. Man, I am sick and tired of this coughing. And I'm also sick and tired about complaining about the coughing. Man, oh man. Let's turn the stroke black on. Pretty cool track, sort of reminding me a little bit of SimCity 2000 music, a little bit. If any of you watching are old enough to remember SimCity 2000. It was an isometric city builder game. One of the best, some say. And it had like a lot of Maxis games of that era. It had a really good soundtrack. That's how I dance to this sort of music. Like, a little bit like, oh, what's his name? When he's watching Tane, what's he called? Paul Rudd. When he's, you know, the famous sketch he does on Tim and Eric's show. Can I get a head wobble? Paul, I don't know if that's a good idea. I can't quite remember what the computer says to him, but it's pretty good stuff. If you're not familiar with this Tim and Eric sketch, it might be one of their most famous sketches. It might be one of the most famous things Paul Rudd's been in, and he's been in a lot of very famous stuff. But it's like with a lot of Tim and Eric stuff, although it's made for TV, it almost feels memey. It kind of, has become a meme. I guess it's that era of television when memes were beginning to take over a little bit. Not to bring up Limmy again, but I remember him talking about this sort of stuff. In fact, I think he was saying how much that season of Tim and Eric was an inspiration to him when he was working on Limmy's show. Yeah, I kind of like where this is going in terms of the colour for this background colour in these windows. It's certainly got like this warmth and sort of pleasant feel to it. So yeah, I'm happy. And then I think all the various, doodahs and gadgets and so on, all being these colourful colours. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm not saying my first thought was my best thought, but maybe it was in this case. I may need to blow my nose in a second, everybody. Get ready. Don't worry, I'll mute the mic, and I'll be blowing my nose off camera. Oh boy. Don't even get me started. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll stream to the end of this album. So that's probably like another half an hour or so, because that'll take me up to 10:30 if that's alright with everybody. I just think my voice isn't going to hold out much longer at this time of day, and it's annoying enough as it is. God bless you if you're still watching. God bless you. Oh God. Just to prove a point, I'm going to do some coughing. And some slurping. Oh, I also need to look into, I think actually having the music play helps a lot. But mouth sounds, I need to work out what people do on Twitch streaming in general, to avoid having like too many mouth sounds. Obviously, drinking water or any kind of drink is the number one solution for disgusting mouth clicking, but even that doesn't completely stop the phenomenon. So having the music play, that's great because it acts like white noise and kind of, drowns out any of that disgusting sound. I'm very aware that the music's fading out and I'm talking. Actually, you know what? I'm going to blow my nose whilst there's a pause in the music. I feel like this is the perfect blowing my nose music. This is what my brain feels like when I'm blowing my nose. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, this is good. This is, so far I'm happy with this colour choice. Cool. Okay, let's keep going. I hope you don't mind me. Well, why else would you be here? This is the stream. What I'm doing on the stream, this is the stream. It's much more of a, as anybody who does this sort of stuff will tell you, I'm sure, it's, the drawing part is for me at least, is the real struggle. And that's what I tend to sweat over the most. And then, not to say that colouring is easier, because it's not, and in many respects it's actually even harder. Because like you can colour things and you can make a drawing look terrible, like a really good drawing look terrible if you colour stuff badly. So it kind of is a bit of a symbiosis. But I would say the process of colouring, especially at this stage, is a lot more zen. My 2 cents. It will, no doubt I will be sweating just as much as if I was drawing the line work later on when I'm trying to refine everything, When it comes to the sort of the actual shading, it's almost like you're drawing again because you're having to think again, less in large fills and more about, again, the kind of the 3D structure of things, which is, again, when you're initially putting down the line work, at least the way I draw, it's sort of taking into account whether something looks solid. This is the music I blow my nose to. I don't know, is this interesting? So in Toon Boom, like in a lot of vector graphic software, when it comes to like drawing strokes and sort of beziers and handles, the yellows, those are the end points of a vector, and then these black ones are where the two vectors cross over, which is really important to know like if you're doing a fill, you need to know that your two vectors are sort of touching each other, so that if you're doing a fill, you know, it knows there's nowhere where the fill can leak, if that makes sense. And then what you can do is you can use the cutter tool to kind of snip off the excess bits, so now that's one continuous vector line. So you can see here, there's the end of this vector, and I want to do one like this, and then when I let go of the cursor off the screen, the stylus off the screen, boom. See, there's the end of that vector, there's that little black one where they cross over, and then I can sort of snip those off. See what I mean? So I think that particular way of doing it is possibly kind of unique to Toon Boom. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I'm quite familiar with Adobe Animate, and I don't remember it being like that in Adobe Animate. I mean, yes, you have like curves and not curves. Sorry, you have strokes, and but I don't think there's a cutter tool in quite the same way. But maybe recently there's been updates or something. Excuse me. I'm going to shut up for a bit. I'm really enjoying that squawky instrument. Sounded almost like a sheep, like a lamb. A slightly distressed lamb. Alright. Bang. I've gone very quiet. That's partially because I don't want to cough anymore, sorry. But also, it's partially because I'm just enjoying the music, frankly. It's also probably because it is now 20 past 10. So this stream now is all about just the atmosphere, as the kids like to say, the vibes. At what age did I start using that phrase? As in, not vibes, but as the kids like to say. I'm going to say my mid-30s, so probably about 6 years ago. At some point, I'm sure I would have used it ironically before that. Like, even as a teenager, I may have said it, but actually saying it with sincerity. I mean, you always use the term, that phrase, with a slight sense of sardony, but is that a word? Sardony? Sardonism? Sarcasm? Tongue-in-cheek? Sardonically? Sardonically, not sardony, sardonically, there we go. I can speak English. Yeah, sort of saying, I guess that's what the kids say these days. And obviously some of us, and I would include myself in this bracket, were never particularly, interested in being cool or on trend or anything ever. So it always felt like a certain level of not being particularly connected to people that would say something like vibes. Does that make sense? Whoa. I was not expecting this wall of sound of an intro. I need to think about how these open windows are going to be. Actually, I think I need to change the colour there then in that case. Now that I think about it. Well, for now I will keep it the same yellow, but I will change that yellow to reflect that it isn't direct light. That's a TBD colour. Or maybe not, we'll see. Maybe this works. I don't want to get too fussy with the colours because I kind of want it to have this restricted palette basically, so I don't want to go into too many shades. Yeah, the restricted palette I think just helps sort of define it as something which is a bit older. Oh my god, brain freeze, there we go. I couldn't remember what I was doing for a second there. Yeah, cool. Is that a second? Oh, okay, so this is the second to last track. Okay, so I'm going to be on for another 15 minutes max. Well, I've enjoyed this late night session. I'm sorry I've been hacking and spluttering. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why. I just can't shake this throat thing, this throat itch. Guess I might as well do this little bit here too. Cool. Okay, right. Save that. So what's the next? Let's work out. Let me work out one more color block before I go. Like, what color do I want, for instance, the ceiling to be? Or even actually, no, let's not start with the ceiling. What color do I want this back wall and possibly this wall to the right be? Do I want the walls to be green or do I want the floor to be green? Let's have a look. I've got here a little reference picture which I'm occasionally going to refer to. Let me bring it over here to this screen. Here we go. Can you see that? You can see that, right? So occasionally I'm going to look at this as like a little bit of reference. But this is very modern, this particular warehouse, so I'm more thinking about just in terms of colour balance here. So for instance, the walls being white, not interested in that. I want the walls to be colourful. I feel like white walls are quite modern. I'd rather they were like a green or an orange or a brown or something. Now the floor is this kind of grey colour, so maybe in this the floor will be not grey but this brown biscuit colour maybe. Yeah, I think so. So if I make that brown biscuit, then, or do I want the tables to be the brown biscuit colour? Decisions. Maybe the floor could be green. If there's foliage outside which is green, Then I think the floor should be green. Although then the green, won't that look like grass? No, not really. No, 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 no. Remember, I can very quickly in Toon Boom just change colours on the fly. Like you see this yellow here for these windows. I can literally just do that. Bang! Look, they're all gone pink. It's really, really quick and easy to change. Once you've selected your palettes, it's really quick and easy to just change everything, so nothing's set in stone. I'm just trying to think of like initially putting colour down and then reacting to it though. I wonder if I reserve the biscuit colour for the benches, because if I look at this, these are kind of this kind of woody, pine colour. But then also, if I look at this, that is that colour, right? So I think that's what these should be. They should be that colour, as in the tables, I mean, the workbenches. So I think the floor is going to be this green, I think. What else would I want to have green? Like a big mass of green. Because I'm also thinking about like old-fashioned lino. And I'm thinking old-fashioned lino is like green, blue, navy. Right? No, pink. No, definitely not pink. Definitely, and not red. No, I think it's going to have to either be the green or the biscuit, but it's not going to be the biscuit, so it's going to be the green. And then I don't think it's going to be the dark green. Or is it? Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it is actually going to be the darker green. Because then all of this stuff will really pop. I mean, it's going to be this dark... Where is it going to go? It's going to go this bit. It's going to be the dark green. You don't really see it anywhere else. So a big block of dark green there. Does that work? Or would the walls be better, that really dark green? No, I don't think the walls should be... Okay, I think it's the floor that's going to be this dark green. And then possibly, some fittings might also be this dark green. Oh, I suppose you might see it here actually as well, a bit of that dark green. So that works. Yeah, okay, it's not just in one spot. Yeah, okay, let's try it out. And I mean, I can always, nix it if it doesn't work, change it to be something else. Yeah, I think so. If I look at this, that floor is quite dark in comparison to everything else. So I think we're okay with this dark green. Okay, I'm going to do this dark green and then I'm probably going to log off. Because I feel like this album is going to end imminently. Imminently. Oh. Wait. What layer am I on? Am I on the wrong layer? Hold on. No, I'm on the right layer. I just had the strokes turned off. Like, invisible. feel like I'm going to have to play one more track because I kind of was just chatting for quite a while there, so this track will end well before I've finished doing the floor. Yeah, there you go, there's the fade out. So in that case, what am I going to put on? This will be the last track to play me out whilst I do the floor. Sorry, I'm just looking through my music library here on Jellyfin. Oh yeah, that might be quite nice. I might play some Tropicalia or sort of bossa nova inspired Tropicalia. Let's see. Something that I've recently acquired. Where is it? I've definitely recently bought and downloaded a couple of like seminal bossa nova, like 60s, 70s, fusion jazz, Tropicalia albums. Where are they? My music list is currently organised by like newest added to that album to oldest. Newest added to the collection, versus, you know what I'm trying to say. I can't see where they are. Where are they? It wasn't that long ago that I got them. Oh, here we go. Is this one of them? Oh, that's quite a modern one there. It's like an 80s one. It was pretty good, but no, I'm thinking more a little older. Where is it? Not Shuggy Otis. Definitely not him. Scanning my albums. Okay, let's go to most recent. Oh, here we go, Milton Nascimento. Yeah, maybe I'll play that, but that wasn't the only one I got recently. I definitely got more than that. Where are they all gone? So, of that kind of part of the world, I've got Stoneflower by Antonio Carlos Jobim? Oh, maybe it's this one I'm thinking of as well. Qualquer Coisa by Caetano Veloso. And then there's this Milton Nascimento one, which was recommended to me after listening to, oh my goodness, who's the lead singer of Black Midi? And he did like this recent solo album, and apparently he was talking about how this Club da Esquina by Milton Nascimento was like a big influence on him. Anyway, I'll put that on. I'll put like one or two tracks on from this whilst I finish up. Let's go. Oh, my right ear enjoyed this. Beautiful. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what I've done wrong here. I was a fool. Okay. Okay, so what do we think about that? I wonder if quite hard to tell right now. I'm going to leave it like this because I think, I could be wrong about this, but once I've put the biscuit colour in, and maybe I should have done this first, for these guys, this won't look quite as heavy as it does. So I'm going to, what I might do is, hold on, what layer? If I turn off all the other layers, because obviously I want to be colouring on the right layer. No, that, yes, so I suppose if I quickly do a biscuit colour fill, here I guess. I should be logging off now really, but I'll just quickly do this. Maybe I should leave this till tomorrow. Oh, am I working on the right layer? Okay, yes I am. Oops. These strokes actually belong to the layer above it. Cut those so I can quickly fill that one. Oh, no I can't because I've not, heh. There we go. Okay, and now the layer above it. trying to work out, was that the same thing, sort of layered, or was that him and a backing vocalist? I couldn't quite tell. Very nice harmonising though. Sorry, YouTube watchers, I'm realising obviously you're not hearing any of this because I remove all the music so I don't get any copyright strikes. But you can see what I'm listening to, as I have got everything listed here. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I'm basically just doing one of these tables because I want to see how heavy this green is if the tables are this biscuit brown colour. So this is sort of letting me, it's going to help me sort of work that out. Not that I'm going to do any tweaking after I've done this because I have to go as it's getting late. It's nearly 11 and I was planning on going at half 10. This is, for instance, like where I was talking about stuff overlapping and underlapping. I'll see what it looks like. I may have to tighten it up a little bit, but I kind of want it to be a little bit loosey-goosey. But then if everything's loosey-goosey, maybe it'll look like a hot mess. So, we'll see. Okay, so I just need to... I believe that's the back of the table there, is it? Yeah, I think so. Ooh. Uh-oh, okay, sorry, switched to the wrong tool. This sounds a little bit like my my gas hob trying to switch on. Sorry, that was very, really, well, diminishing the artistry of this track for a very, very, not even joke, just something to say. Okay, we're nearly there. Whoosh, right, okay, so let me tidy that up a tiny bit. And then fill it. Well, that's probably tidy enough. Okay, so Alt I biscuit colour, let's see. Oh no, there's a gap. There's a gap somewhere. Doesn't want to fill because there's a gap somewhere. Oh, I know where it is, it's right here. Fool. Any more? No, I don't think so. Right, okay, so now turn all the other layers on. So I can't tell. It's too late, I think, in the day for me to be able to tell whether this works. I think this works, as in, like, hold on, if I grab this fill, I think that works, as in the table colour and this background, this. I don't know about this green though. It might work. I will decide tomorrow. I will maybe change it in the morning. I mean, would this be any better? No, definitely not. No way. I think it has to be a darker colour so that things can pop on it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. I can't tell, it's too late. And I gotta go. I don't want to do any more coughing, and it's late. I'm probably going to stream tomorrow, hopefully, if everything goes well, but that'll be more in the afternoon. So I hope I'll see you then. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Apologies for my coughing, and I will probably be doing more coughing in tomorrow's stream, so see you then. Cheerio, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.